Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. Apologies for being late once again. It was my fault. I was getting a brew and then we were having a good old chinwag. And then Andrea started having a go at me about wearing a vest and that wasn't professional and all this sort of jazz. But basically, Andrea's got himself a brand new mic and he thinks he's it's looking good, mate. You've gone top of the range as well, mate. Looking. Yeah, do you want to sing us a song?
I took advice from Joe, as you can see.
I see. Yeah,
I'm about to start a piano bar after that, singing.
Like Benjamin Bloom. Benjamin Bloom does a bit of that as well. So you can be the Italian's answer to Benjamin Bloom. No, thank you all for being here, Jer, as well. Big up to Jer, not a regular on the Late Night Leeds crew, but, I reached out to him earlier and he's always there. So, yeah, Jer, welcome, my man. You good?
Thanks very much for having me. Yeah. I had a free evening. If I'm on mute, it's because my dogs are barking randomly at nothing at my front door. So,
mate, don't worry about it. Dogs are all right on this show, as you know. Dogs are all right on this show. There's no worries there. And Lockie wearing our brother, or is it sister clubs? That's what they call it, isn't it? A sister clubs. Yeah, jersey, BVB. Is that because you're expecting Rutter to get transferred there?
Nah, it's a bit of a change. But I've put it on. There's some German links to talk about in there, so.
Yes, there is actually. Yeah, I see what you've done there. There you go.
I have to say, I'm sorry. I like Schalke more than BVB. I have to confess it.
Nice. Yeah, nice. I've been to Germany. And it is such a cool place. Where the Great Wall was, like they still have the 2 bricks going all the way around. Do you know what I mean? It's really cool.
Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall, yeah. What did I call it? The German Wall?
The Great Wall.
Great Wall of China.
I didn't realize.
Miles away.
No, but this is years ago. That I went like.
It was very long.
Checkpoint Charlie and stuff like that. The Great Wall, is that what I called it? I'm really sorry. God, historian. These were just talking about history as well, and I've just gone the Great Wall of Berlin. No, but I've been to like Checkpoint Charlie and that. Those who will know what I'm on about, but it's really cool. I went on like this exchange thing. Anyway, that's years back. We move. Gary Paul says, making me think why Spence didn't pick a number. Was he told to hold off as players leaving, aka Hailing? No, you're clutching there, Gary. Also, evening team, 49 hours to go. Yes, love you all. Love you too, Gary. But no, I don't think Hailing's going anywhere. That'd be crazy. Drama's going to be the one to leave, I think. And that's really what we're going to be focusing the video in. I think we've seen over the last, I keep saying 24 to 48 hours, but now it's literally because transfer windows, it's hours. We've seen over the last hour or two that basically Leeds United are willing to move quite a lot of the, youth prospects that are on the periphery of the squad. Cody Drama, which I think we all expected, but then Phil Hayes done an article talking about Darko JB, talking about Sam Greenwood, who I think's got a loan sorted to Middlesbrough. You've also got Leo Hjelde in there as well, who we think, and it's been linked long now for him to go to Italy, Salernitana, which I think's have done pretty well this time. And who else is on it? Joffe even. There's loads on the periphery, really, that I didn't expect to be moved on in this window. But what that also does do is sort of reduce the numbers of the squad. So it's like, I guess it's just a conversation with these lads just to find out. I'm with you in the chat as well, folks, and we'll put a few polls up there as we go. Like, where does it we need to strengthen? Who do we see going, etc. Just have a general chit chat. And I guess Joe, I'll start with you, mate. Were you surprised to see the names on the list and Leeds United are ready to tout them all out?
No, not based on especially last night's game. When we look at who was involved and who wasn't involved, more so Joffy a little bit, but I think that's more a case of him wanting to make sure he's getting game time this season than Leeds necessarily pushing him out. Leo Hjelde doesn't look like he's going to be a first choice left back for me. I still don't think he's a decent enough left back. I see people calling for him to be given a shot at centre back. Leo Hjelde hasn't played centre back since he was in the U team at Celtic, so it's a long time since he's played centre back as well. So that would be, for me, I think I understand Hjelde probably going out as well. JB hasn't impressed yet, but give him a chance, send him out on loan, let him get some proper minutes and consistent minutes. Drame just lines up with Spence coming in. That makes sense as well. And then Sam Greenwood is probably the one that makes the most amount of sense. He's banging on the door a little bit, but not. If he was going to be in the team, he would have started last night. The fact that they thought, same with Lewis Bate, that's not great. So I thought that would be him out on loan. But going to a championship club on loan is good for us. There's no option to buy. There's no obligation to buy. So he will come back to Leeds at the end of it. Maybe with a run of games, you might actually see the best of him, or we'll know that he's not capable of this level, but we'll find out one way or the other.
Yeah, definitely. Darren Smith says, evening, guys. Just got back from Mexico this afternoon. Where's our bid for a flipping left back? We need one. We will be talking about that. We will be looking at the squad depth. The two staticos, as I like to call them, have been on the job, putting together lineups and depths and stuff. And yeah, so you're in for a treat tonight, as is always the case. And that's just from my guns. Do you know what I mean? So wait till you see what content we've got for you. but Lockie, thoughts on the squad, and also Jed. Let's talk about positive. Actually, Jed Spence was announced this morning. I swear the club had announced it last night, but when we lost, they went, "Yeah, we'll save that for morning." I think.
Yeah, it's a smart idea, isn't it? It's fan based. You don't know what you'd get if you
People
did that.
were in meltdown, weren't they, Lockie? People were in meltdown on the stream. I was like, chill.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, it's not. Farke won't care that much, to be honest. It's not that deep. They'll all be over it by now. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we should be. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jed Spence. It's a brilliant signing, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's. I say this word. It's a statement. It is. The guy's class. Yes. I think he's too good at this level. Bad move at Tottenham. Never really found the right system that suited him.
Yeah.
I think what he put on Instagram today, just some short words, there's real confidence in him. He's got something to prove this year, and I'm glad he's at Leeds doing that, because to me, he's a really confident player. And if you get a good team around him with the same ambitions, that's where you see the best of him. Yeah, it's a really good player to get. It really is. And then you think about these teams around us getting all these players, but these are like the top in terms of loan, in terms of, I guess you could say, what's the word? Realistic loan targets. Jed Spence is right at the top of that.
Yeah.
And we've got him. I mean, look at Ampadu as well, who we bought. It was right at the top of that. Joe Rodon as well.
Yeah.
So we're moving good. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. But as we'll talk about depth and we'll go into that stuff. And we do need more, especially with players going out for sure.
Yeah. No, I think you bang on, mate. I think, like, if you'd have said to us, out of the Premier League sides, which is a realistic loan, and you went to right back, the majority of fans would go, Jed Spence. 100%. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, you're not going to get some of these Pedro Porro, you're not going to get others. You're going to look at them and say, right, okay, who's not getting minutes at their football club? And at right back, it's Jed Spence. He ticks all the boxes. And, you know, like people's been saying in the comments, that compilation of some of his stuff that he did last season and what he did at Forest as well is just like, wow. It's like, it's Luke Ayling times 10, you know what I mean? Like, so we're going to be in for a treat, and he's going to unlock, you know, and create spaces for the likes of non-tone stuff as well. So it's going to be really good. Andrea, how are you, mate? What were your thoughts on the game last night? First and foremost, I guess you'd have watched it back after the fact, because I know you weren't with us, but it was a good performance to say we lost, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've watched it back, and it was a good performance. A good occasion, honestly, to get some minutes in and glue the team together again. Because honestly, the only thing that bothers me going out on the League Cup is that we created a lot, but we're clinical. You know, also in the second half, that I think we need to see it again. That missed goal on Gnonto. You know, I think that one should have, you know, the referee sometimes in the second half wasn't great, to be fair for me.
No, it was terrible. Yeah.
It wasn't great, but in the end, we weren't clinical, and we have to be clinical against a League Two team, because it's a learning experience, in the end, going out against a lower tier club, because you face other teams like this ones. There's every kind of team, there's teams like Cardiff and WBA will sit back and wait for you, and other teams like Ipswich will take it again to you. And yesterday, honestly, what this League Cup campaign leaves to us, for me, is that some players, for example, Yelde, or in the first game against Shrewsbury, like JB, playing against League One and League Two opposition, they didn't step up for the opportunity they were given by Farke, because in the end, the League Cup, especially against lower tier clubs, is an opportunity to rotate the squad, to see how the subs and the reserves do in the team, playing with the first team starters like Ampadu, like Nyonto in this case, and they struggled, honestly. They struggled, and that's why, I'm sad to go out, because it would have been a good experience to play against Premier League clubs, and given a opportunity again against an higher opposition to those players, because in the end it was an opportunity to keep everyone in line, because we know now there's a specific starting 11 assembling now, especially with the players probably coming in. But like Shackleton shows, and Shackleton is the ultimate example of that, you always have to have everyone ready and focused and feeling a part of the team, feeling a part of the starting 11, even if they are not playing. And the League Cup, the thing that bothers me is that those players who were given a spot in the starting 11 in the League Cup weren't up for the challenge. And that's a learning experience for them, because now they have to work even more if they want to get a shot and an opportunity in the league. And that's a different level. But yeah, it's a learning experience. We weren't clinical yesterday. We weren't clinical, and in the end, we paid for that. Because if you don't close the games against those kind of oppositions, you pay for that ultimately, even in the lottery of penalties.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and like you say, some footballers have taken their opportunity, and we have to say Jamie Shackleton has done just that. You've got Daniel Farker after the game saying he's underrated and stuff. And then you look at Darko JB, who was given 45 minutes, and he didn't do well at all, did he? We all noticed that fact. He was hooked at half time. You've got to take your opportunities, especially when bodies are coming in the door. I think a lot of us, if you'd have asked us pre-season, Shax is sold, Darko JB gets minutes. Look how it's flipped. I think if we go back to our predictions, a lot of us would have mentioned Darko JB maybe as breakout star. I'm sure we'll have to go back and check. But it just shows you you've got to take your minutes. And some players are for some managers, others for not. It is what it is. These things happen, right? But we'll have to wait and see. Before we start to look at the squad depth and stuff, like now looking at it, and we'll go back round. How many do we need injure, and how many are we expecting of them that are on the periphery to leave?
I think we need 5 in, if I'm being
Still,
honest.
Still now, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you look at it, left back, definitely. I think we need 2 centre mids. Just because if these players go out, there's no cover. So if you're letting JB go out on loan, you need somebody else to be a backup for Ampadu. You need somebody else to be a backup for Archie, or ahead of Archie even. I still think we need a number 10, because looking at the game last night, we cannot unlock a defense if they sit on the 18-yard line. We cannot. We try and go around the outsides and with all the wingers we have, but it doesn't work. You have to be able to change it. We're too predictable. I think we need number 10, but I think we'll really, really struggle to that. That's 5, but there is also the other issue of a backup striker, because maybe it's Mateo Joseph. Maybe he's going to come back and we'll have that, but nobody else looks like they can score goals. Rutter, when he was in the 10, looks more dangerous than he does when he's in the 9. So I still think we need 4 or 5, but I don't think we'll get that. I have a horrible feeling we'll maybe pick up 2, and that'll be it between now and the end of the window, but I think we need a lot more than that. I have a genuine feeling, I was saying to the lads before we started, I have a genuine feeling we've missed out on a couple. And that we're now on our second and third choices, and we're not 100% convinced on all of them. So, that's where my head's at right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely makes sense with Kamara, for example, doesn't it? Because if he ends up coming in, it's like, yeah, it's clear you weren't someone they really wanted because you could have been in weeks ago.
Maybe we're just
Kurt,
taking our time with the medical, Joe. You know, it's been, what, 3 weeks since he started his medical, just to be 100% sure that every leg and every arm and fingernail is okay, you know?
He's still there on the sleeping pods into a patch, sleeping there day and night.
Take them apart and put them back together again.
That's why they have reinstalled them, you know, after Nash got rid of.
Kurt Dunn, thank you for the super thanks or super sticker. Darren Smith says we need 4 in 2 centre mids, a number 10 and a left back. Therefore, yeah. If you were to, if I were to press you for which 2 positions will we get then? Where are they?
Left back, centre mid.
And do we think it's the Bulgarian Butte? That,
I think he's probably one of them. I'd like Matt O'Reilly, but I just don't. I think that's just going to be a step too far to get Matt O'Reilly. He's not going to be cheap. Although Celtic have brought in a Portuguese guy on loan today, so there's a possibility that's freed up some space for O'Reilly to leave. But for me, Matty O'Reilly's more of a wider player for Celtic. He's been played on the wider part of the pitch when he has played. Can play in the centre, and he's a quality player. Left back, I think, could be a late one. I think don't be surprised if we see Charlie Taylor come in on deadline day. Although we did start tonight for Burnley, but it is a League Cup game, so it probably doesn't mean an awful lot.
Yeah, exactly. Lockie, then with you, mate, what were you expecting numbers wise?
Ooh, from now, yeah, I think we get this one that's currently going. The guy, I forget his name. Jeez, I've done a video. What's his name?
Gruev.
Ilya Gruev.
Gruev.
I'm so bad at names. Yeah, I think that gets done. After that, I think we get 2, a left back and another midfielder. Now, I think the thing is with transfer windows, ideally you always want more. I think every team in this league will always want more. It's the same in I think every team's the same. You always want more players. You always want better players. You always need upgrades. But if we did get a more advanced midfielder and a left back, I think I'd be more than relatively happy. It would depend on who that more advanced midfielder is. But with that, I think I'd be more than relatively happy. And it's interesting with the 10. I've been thinking about this conversation about the 10. Because what is that in this system? Because I looked at the Norwich side, and we'll go into it in more detail in a bit. I looked at Stiperman and Ranic. How do you say his name?
Vrancic.
Oh my God.
Mario Vrancic. Yeah.
And he got...
He is me giving you pronunciation.
It's when I come live, I can't
Check
do
that
it.
Out.
Yeah, it's difficult. Croatian.
I'll look at their statistics. And Vrancic played further back than Stiperman, but had similar goal involvements, which is very interesting. So for me, it's not necessarily a 10. It's the output in goals we need. Whether that's O'Reilly, who got 14 assists last season. A type of player who can give you the output to give you the goals is what we need. Whether he plays in the 10 or in the 8, that doesn't matter to me. As long as we have a player who can provide those assists, that's what we need. And like I said, with Vrancic and Stiperman, they had similar outputs. And Stiperman, a lot of the time, played in and around the edge of the box. A lot of their goals in that team relied on the strike. I think Timo Pukki got 29 goals and 10 assists in that season, which is ridiculous. Like we're expecting that output from Pirro, and that's what's going to be required. We have more depth than they did up front, of course. So for me, it's about getting the right profiles and the right outputs out of players to get the goals that we need, not necessarily the position. Because you look at O'Reilly, like you said, Joe, he can go out wide. He can be around that box. He can get goals in the 6-yard box. He can do a bit of everything. So that is a profile we need, whether he plays 10 or not. Because I'm looking at the midfield from the Norwich side and that Vrancic role. And I just don't think, and I think he got like 8 goals and 8 assists, something around them, about 17 goal involvements from centre mid. Archgray's not getting that. Archgray's a brilliant young player. He really is. And he's got a really good future ahead of him. But is he getting the output from centre mid? I don't think he is. Now, what we need is a player who can provide the output, whether he goes more advanced or whatever. But then you're taking the output of Somerville or potentially Rutter out the side. I think we need more output from midfield because Ampadu and Gray are not going to get the goals and assists that Norwich midfield did. So that's what we need to fill for me. Yeah,
that's a good point because Ampadu can't strike a ball. Like he can't. He's a bit like Forshaw in that respect. Adam Forshaw was exactly the same. Whenever it came on the edge, you're thinking, "Nah, don't bother, because it's going way gone in it." So yeah, let's talking about that, because I know I've been out all day, but we were with this midfielder coming in, Gruyev.
Yeah.
Gruyev. He's a player in the similar sort of mold as Ampadu you were talking about before, Andrea. And is it possible that we're going to play with two number sixes, if you like, and then, you know, are they both going to play deeper? Explain to us, mate. And you've had a look at Norwich, you've had a look at Daniel Farke's previous sides as well, just to see the correlation between that and what we might be doing.
Actually, if you want, I can share it now.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about it later, but let's do it now.
No, let's do it now, and then we'll talk about the depth afterwards and what that means for us.
So, can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this one was Norwich in 2018-2019 when they were champions side of us. So basically, as you can see here, they had 2-6, Tete and Tribal. So they play with 2-6, but they had two players in the 10 position who were actually not a 10, properly 10, but two advanced midfielders, you know. Stiepermann, as Lucky said, and Vrancic. And Stiepermann and Vrancic, the one playing, Stiepermann played more games, usually step back and at this kind of movement, you know, going forward with Tribal, Tete covering this area and Tribal covering this type of area, you know, because they were involved with this kind of, chain, let's call it like that, with these two, bringing verticality and the passing lines to of course, the wingers. So if we bring in Gruyev, he can play with Ampadu and Gruyev, but the number 10 position becomes crucial, because if you don't put him there, a player with those type of characteristics, you know, a tall one, physical one, player who can help defensively, the two at the back making a 3 in a certain situation, a 4-3-3. Back then, when you have to defend in certain areas, it's very difficult because you have two type of players who dictate from the back, have not much pace. They cover this area, and you don't go forward there. So I think that the attack loses some spark, and especially it's a risk. It gives you some unbalance, of course, but it gives you more balance because you have a player in the 10 doing both phases, going forward and going backwards, you know, and also covering in certain situation, because of course, as we know, the type of football Farke plays sees the two left backs, the two full backs, helping during the attack. So the 10 becomes crucial with those two following the attack, and the number 10, because I always say when we talk about Daniel James, you know, let's judge him again when he has a number 10 near him. And I think with the number 10, with those type of characteristics, you know, like Stiepermann or Vrancic, I think the perfect one in that case, because those two were not a proper 10, but advanced midfielders. O'Reilly will be brilliant for me in that position. I will be worried instead if you have Ampadu and, of course, Gruyev, because I don't think Gruyev is moving from a Bundesliga side where he played 22 games last season from a championship side to be a super sub for Ampadu. Of course, I would have liked a number 8, proper 8 going forward, because you need a box-to-box player here for me. But if you play with two holding midfielders, then the number 10 becomes crucial. No show. Another example, you know, this is the 2020-2021 Norwich side. As you can see, it's different here because you have Skip, who is along the midfielder, and McLean, who, like we said the last night, you know, is right now helping me during this. The player with the more distance covered, isn't it? I think.
Kenny McLean.
Kenny McLean, yeah.
He's leading his player in the championship,
yeah, exactly. But as you can see, you have a player helping a lot into the attack also, and in that for Scotland too, but also Vrancic, who can bring you the physicality and the centimeters, you know, the 8 in midfield, because right now we are very light in midfield. And we resolve that if we bring in Gruyev, of course, because you have Ampadu and Gruyev, who bring some 8, but then you need O'Reilly too, or a similar type of player in the 10 for me, because you need
Can I
match
just
the physical battle.
to ask a
Go on,
quick
John.
question? What happens with Gray then now?
Well, I think Gray can be if you play with Gray and Ampadu, Gray becomes the first sub there. I've read a lot of comments on Twitter suggesting Gray in the number 10, but honestly, I don't think it's his proper position. I think he's developing into a good 8, and we have to help him in his development without rushing him. Because, of course, he's been brilliant in some games. He's been decent in other ones. He's still a player developing, so we don't need to rush him. I think with a player ahead of him, he can be the first option outside of the bench.
I agree, by the way. I
easily.
was just putting the question out there just to see what the could you see anyone in the squad currently being able to do that role that Vrancic is?
Not
Honestly,
for me.
Maybe
no.
Cini.
No.
Maybe Cini, maybe.
The only
Maybe.
problem with Cini is the defensive side of it.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
problem with it.
You
Yeah.
need,
That's
you
the
need that. Oh, like O'Reilly would be perfect. That balance, forward and back. And that's what I said earlier about a 10, but who is an 8 who can go into the 10. That's what we need.
Yeah.
We don't need like an out-and-out 10 that's just creative. We need someone who will work back for sure. Yeah, it's about getting the balance right.
It should also be said that the first person to say that Archie Gray should be a number 10 was Jesse Marsh. So if we're saying that, then we're agreeing with Jesse Marsh. So just be careful on that one.
So anywhere but number 10 then, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
In the end, we need a 10 with third midfielder in certain situations, dropping back when we have to defend, of course, because the fullbacks go forward usually. And you know that in certain situations when you attack, of course, like now I'm taking Norwich as an example, but the system is similar. Sorensen staying a little bit back like Hjelder was doing, in certain situation, you have the 2-1 helping here. And Vrancic is crucial to give balance to the team, because if you lose the ball here, it's 2 players. It's 2 players, you're unbalanced completely on the right side. You have Sorensen, of course, giving some coverage.
And we've seen that quite a few times already.
With
haven't
Hjelder,
we, really?
with Hjelder in pre-season here, like that.
Yeah.
And to
First
finish
half
it
last
off,
week we got caught an awful lot with that in the first half. Last week, balls over the top into the space, both flanks.
Exactly, absolutely. And this was actually Gladbach last season, and you can see here, Kramer, defensive player, he was playing with another holding midfielder, but Kone is also a player who has a lot of pace and carries the ball, so it's like a number 8 going forward with Stindl helping him. Here, Stindl can play everywhere in the 3 positions behind the striker. Of course, Thuram is not the proper number 9, but a second striker mainly now. He's doing that role at the Inter, and he's doing that greatly, But you see how crucial if you have 2 players, and again, the example is Ampadu and Grujev, how crucial the number 10 becomes then for the whole system. Because if you have 3 offensive players here, the risk is going unbalanced there, because these are not defensive players. You need one help in the midfield, and right now we've played with wingers adapted in the role, and we've seen them struggling in helping the midfield in going back defensively.
Against Ipswich, Andre, that was the thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll go back to this one later because I want Loki to talk about the depth first, because that's a different graphic,
Yeah, there's a lot to pick out of that. It is really, really interesting. Thanks for doing that. And you can see, I guess, what he's trying to do when you look at previous teams he's managed. Let me just bring this up. Quick question from Darren. He says Andrea Sardella, left back Anderlecht. Do we know him at all? Does anyone know him?
No, I don't know him, honestly. It's an Italian surname, honestly, but I honestly don't. Kylian Sardella, no, I don't know him, honestly. You've caught me out of guard, this time.
Yeah, you've got him off guard for once.
Yeah.
There you go. We found a chink in his armor. Right, okay. Go ahead then, Lockie. Talk to us about our current squad depth, my man.
Do you want me to show you it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
got a graphic here. Full of graphics today.
What's this? Hang on a minute. Is he on the wind up? Let's have a look. There's no.
I'm gonna cry if that's good.
Nah, I can't. 25 million.
I know, definitely not.
Stop. Am I all right?
Yeah, nah, he's telling lies. Well done, though, mate. You got us.
Someone else was trying to get us. Sydney's going out on loan. Rumor going like of all the rumors, that's the one that's not going to land with anybody.
No, definitely not.
Right. So this is the squad depth we have right now. So the green players are the starters, and who I believe the squad are the club are happy with starting. The yellow are the second in place, I guess you could say, the squad players, and the red are players who are not at that level yet or injured. And as you can see, for me, the clear standout is a midfielder. As you can see, behind Gray and Ampadu, you only have Shaq, really, at this point right now. And there's two positions in midfield to fill, and left back. I think centre back for now, I don't think that's a big thing we need to worry about. I think two decent, serviceable centre backs in Cooper and Creswell there. And of course, we've got one of the young lads who might develop as well. Right back now is looking all right. Spence will start. Aylin's a fine backup for me. I'm all right with that. I'm happy with that. Drami will probably leave. Yeah. Looking at the front as well, and I put Joseph red. Joseph could easily be a yellow, and he's back in training now, which is good for me. I think
he can also play out on the left, Joseph, as well.
And that's what I've not incorporated into this. Obviously, you look at the wingers there. You could also have James who could play on the right as well.
Yeah, of course.
And Nonno who could play on the left. So for me, what stands out, I guess the 10, we're looking for that profile as well. But it's left back and the centre mid in that position. Because as you can see, I've got Halder there, but that's the only option. I don't think the club are happy with that being the only option.
I'm not happy with it.
No. But for some areas, we're looking all right. We're looking quite good. But in others, there's a lot of reds and yellows, not too many greens.
Yeah. Definitely needs surgery, that midfield for me. And also left. Like, the mad thing is, it might sound wild, but like, if, and I can't stand the guy, but if Byram and Firpo were fit, you could maybe forgive the club for saying, do you know what, let's wait till January and maybe look in midfield. But with Byram and Firpo's injury history and the fact Hjelder for me isn't of the sufficient level, it definitely needs some work for sure. And I guess also, you could argue, go on, mate, sorry.
Ignore the numbers. We're just random.
But the number 10's a worry as well, because especially when you consider how Andrea's just set it up and showed us how it's probably going to operate if he is go with this.
Because in that position, these guys are good players, but they're not the profile we necessarily need because they can't do the defensive work as we've seen. Especially for me against Ipswich, I just think there was a bit too much bypassing. Even when Perrault dropped in there as well, they're not going to do that. We need a guy like we've already expressed who can play the 8 and the 10 at the same and have that box to box mentality. We don't have that in there. They're all good players. These guys are great players, and they'll get goals this season. They'll input in goal scoring, but we need someone who can also balance. There's no balance in between here at the moment. That's my issue.
I don't understand why we moved for Mary then, because he is known for not doing the dirty side of the game. He's known for not tracking. He's known for not working back. He's so I don't understand why we went for him in that position. Given that he's great when he's on the ball, but he won't do the work off the ball. So I'm not sure who they're identifying for that position that fits the bill that we're actually looking for.
I think that is O'Reilly.
Probably, yeah.
And if you put all your eggs in midfield, if you're putting all your eggs in that basket, that's a risk because that'll be a difficult one for me. But there might be other targets. We don't know this, do we? But
I'll splash the cash, honestly, for O'Reilly. The player is worth it for me. Of course, he's not proven anything outside of Scotland, but if you look at the type of player and the system, I spend the cash, honestly. The player is, I mentioned him some time ago because I think as a 8 at the time, not as a 10, but with probably Grujev as the target for the other number 6, the 8 adapted as a second 6, you still need a physical player who can also, O'Reilly is tall, but he's also attacking and versatile in going forward in the final third. So it would be the perfect addition in the 10.
Let's see what that looks like. You bring him in, suddenly there you've got one of these guys that bit of depth. It just looks so much better. You bring O'Reilly in there as well. Suddenly that midfield is looking. You've got options there, right? You've got Rutter, Somerville, Joffe, or predominantly Somerville, Rutter, who can play in that role. You have Riley who will start. You have Gruev in there. Now that's looking a lot more healthier for me. You've got 4 solid options in midfield, and these guys can just rotate around the front 4, really.
Yeah.
And then you bring in the left back as well.
Yeah.
The O'Reilly thing for me is the fee. A lot of people saying he won't drop down to the Championship because he's got Champions League football. There's a lot of people on Twitter saying that as well. Let's be realistic about this. Celtic are not playing Champions League football. Okay, Celtic are qualifying for the Champions League. That's the starting point. And I say that as a man who watches a hell of a lot of Celtic games. The other piece of this with the Champions League thing is under Ange Postecoglou, he wanted to do well in Europe. Brendan Rodgers has a horrific record in the Champions League with Celtic, which was half the reason why the Celtic fans didn't like him, because they couldn't do anything in Europe with him. So they'll be out of Champions League pretty quickly. Championship level, I mean, Matty Riley's got a better chance of getting to the Premier League by coming down and playing for us than he has him sitting with Celtic. So I just think it's about a fee. If we can agree a fee. Apparently the first bid was rejected, but they can get him for a fee. As everyone has already said, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a smart move. His work rate's excellent. So from a working perspective and covering distance and covering ground, he's perfect for that system. Creativity is a different question, but he has got a shot on him. He can create things from wide areas. Whether he's creative enough around the centre of the park is questionable, but there's an awful lot more to his game than just that.
Yeah. And that's it. Go on, Andre.
Yeah, a quick one, because before I didn't talk about the number of signings. For me, 4 or 5, like Jed said, because in the end for me it's crucially the number 10. I think we need 2 center mids. If we bring in Grujev, as you can see, especially because I think he will start with Ampadu and Grujev if we bring in a number 10. Start with both 2 number 6. You have Gray as an alternative on one side and Shackleton on the other one. So for me, I don't care if it's Kamara or another one, but you still need another body, unless they hope that Dallas return and rehab is going.
He's miles off though, isn't he?
Yeah, we don't know, honestly. We don't know, but yeah, for me now we need another center mid, and apart from another left back, surely probably Charlie Taylor at this point. And I agree with Jer, honestly, because if you look up front with Rutter in another role, because he's doing better on not in the 9 but in other roles, you have Pyro, Bamford was injured right now, and Joseph was injured. And if there's a cheap option right there, try and bring him in, even if it's alone. We need bodies in, especially with those players going out on loan probably. And I think Gellert, the other night I said, I'll keep him because Joseph is injured right now, and honestly, you need depth. You just have Pyro and Bamford right now with Joseph injured. If you send Gellert out on loan, and honestly, from what we've seen in preseason, I think Falke sees Joseph more like a winger because he always played him on the wing in preseason. Yeah, honestly. So I don't really know about Joseph, honestly.
I think on Gelhardt as well, like his agent might be pushing for a move, but I think people that have actually contacted the club to ask about Gelhardt have been told he's not going anywhere or he's not available yet. That may change if, like Andrea mentioned, if an option came available that was cheap that could do what he can, they might take it, and then they'll say, right, Joffrey, we'll let you go out on loan. But at the minute, the answers to the calls have been no, he's not going anywhere. So it's one to watch with that one, I guess. Just quick comment from Baseline Bible. He says, am I right in saying that we've reached our loan out limit? Therefore, if anybody who goes now, they have to be sold or released from Brett?
No. Unfortunately, no.
I think there's...
domestics on the 21s don't count. So, seven international, which I think we're maxed out on now, or we've got one gap maybe. There's 4 domestic loans, of which we have 1 with Jack Harrison out, and the under 21s don't count in any of them. So you can loan out as many under 21 players. Anyone under the age of 21 can go out without a limit.
See, I was told the contractual issue around Cine was to do with this loan out limit.
Yeah, it's done. Apparently, it's expired.
So
he's not going on. No way.
No, he's not. He'll be sold if anything. Yeah. I agree, mate. Yeah, I agree. Any news on Dak? Yeah, Bradley Dack's still at Sunderland. Hazard, all right, still there.
You have to appreciate the commitment he has.
It's not even Hazard anymore.
That's what I mean. But Hazard asked earlier on, and now I've asked it. So yeah.
I was looking at Lockie's team there and thinking there was a Bradley Dack shaped hole in that team.
It's true. It's true. Right, okay. Well, let's go back then, Andrea, to what we were looking at before, just to see what.
Yeah, similar one to Loki, honestly, to be fair, but I want to share it anyway now. Okay, just wait here because I have this one. Okay, here we go. The most famous Italian word right now, catchphrase. Okay.
That's true.
Can you see that? Yeah. So for me right now, it's a similar one to Loki's. This is what in my head is the ideal team for us, and I think we will play if we get those signing over the line. So clearly, I think Taylor can be the one going to fill the spot at left back. If Gruev signs, I think he doesn't come to be a sub, so he plays with two number 6 like he did with Norwich. Similar players, holding midfielders. Freiburg is a defensive midfielder. Tete was a defensive one. Two physical players. It's a similarity here. Of course, Ampadu is not as physical. Ampadu and Gruev as, for example, Tete was. The example is there, And honestly, like I said, Gray and Shackleton we're light there. We're well light. And O'Reilly is crucial. And I see Rotter, honestly, in the 10 again. But because the main talking point for me, if you bring in O'Reilly, is that Rotter or Pyro, one of them has to start on the bench, because there's only one spot for the number 9. And if we want to play with two number 6, staying back and dictating the play, because of course Ampadu has in him a little bit of going forward and breaking the line with us pressing, going between the lines. But Gruev usually moves in a very limited area. Go and look if you want in SofaScore is heat map in games. Is very good in carrying the ball in this kind of area to find a pass, or instead moving away from the pressing and disposing on the ball with long balls or short passes vertically or to the winger, and that is really good. But again, those two players have not much space. They can bring the tackling, they can bring the aggression, and they can bring the vision from the back. But it's crucial you have a 10 helping them as an option, because instead, if you don't have a 10, there's no verticality. You have to go always on the wing in that case. So that's why it's crucial, this position. And like I said,
we saw a lot of that last night, right? Didn't we? Wing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's the game plan of Cardiff, the game plan of West Brom in the first halves, always sending us to the wings. And you can risk narrowness, because of course when we attack, of course now I'm gonna change it a bit. For example, Rutter, the defensive side of him, it's not there again. It's not there yet. So usually he moves in this position, and you create narrowness, but not much verticality, because the ball is always going on the wings. He's moving there. The ball goes on the other side. We overload, and you have Rotter there with Pyro, usually dropping back in certain situations. Also he changed to second striker now, and not center forward. But yeah, there is exactly. If you go there, there's no one in the middle. That's why you need an advanced midfielder as a number 10 if you want to play with 2-6 for me.
And it's so obvious from there, Andre, isn't it? Look at where the counter option is then, through the middle and out wide.
Exactly.
Into their 6
and
out
winger.
Yeah.
And then you have, especially if you look at some of the highlights of Norwich when they were in possession. In possession, they had, for example, Sorensen. You have Ampadu dropping back. Of course, they need to stretch with Ampadu or Gruev. Here, Spence, of course, usually Spence goes up, because we see Nailing going almost to the right winger, Yalda and Bayram stay back usually and help in midfield, but Bayram is also a more attacking player. But with Yalda, we've seen like 3 center mids, in certain situations, and that's why you need a 10 there. If you don't have the 10, there's no verticality in the team. That's why I think Taylor would be a good fit, honestly, because he's reliable, knows the league. Of course, he's not the first choice there.
Played centre back as well, didn't he? So
exactly,
he played,
most of that season.
honestly,
The only issue with this is if you look at the system, look at how he played the weekend. There was some big issues with this stuff as well. Where do you have Taylor here on this map? He's going to be inside more often and up higher, so it's going to be similar to Spence in the first, but inside more, which leaves a bigger gap on the wing then for you to pop that ball out because he's not going to make a run back down the sideline, so you lose that. The idea is in this system is supposed to be that Ampadu and Shakhtar Gruyev would just come out and cover it, and the two centre halves to push on, and you end up with a back four, and then you've got one sitting in front, maybe. But what happened at the weekend was the two centre backs went all the way up to the halfway line, which meant the two midfielders that were tucking in were actually in the final third of the pitch on the edge of the final third, which means they kept getting done with this ball over the top, and the two centre backs having to turn around and defend facing their own goal. And Leeds have been historically bad having to defend facing their own goal. And if you look at the second half last week, it was a case of Farke must have told the centre backs not to go forward, not to push on, because they sat pretty deep for most of the second half. And the issue with that meant was then we actually struggled then getting enough bodies into the final third of the pitch to create something. So it's a case of overloading with the players that we've got and hoping we get goals, or we bring in someone creative, or a couple of people that are creative. That means that when we do go into those spaces, we don't need to overload it as much.
Right. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Finding the balance as well. I think Jed Spence will help massively in that. The recovery speed of Jed Spence will massively help them gaps in behind. And like you said with Charlie Taylor, he can easily do that dirty defending side of it if he has to. And O'Reilly would be that guy in there.
O'Reilly will fill the space
perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like we're chasing that word, though. It does feel like we're chasing that word balance. Like the team has been so unbalanced for the last 18 months, 2 years. And even to the back end of Bielsa's time, there was an imbalance in the side. And you've got Farke in a situation here where he's trying to plug gaps and build a system that he wants, but at the same time, he has to be mindful to get the balance right in the squad and rebalance the squad. So before he even gets to what he wants as his ideal setup, he has to get the balance right in the team first, and then he can start to go and implement little bits and pieces. But he's trying to fix 18 months worth of bad work.
I think if you look, the last thing we can look at here is that Gray and Shackleton, you still need one between probably Tanaka or Kamara as an option for those players, for me. And that's the last thing I was going to say about this formation.
I think Tanaka in this system as a defensive option would have been very good again with the pace that he has over that area. He's very good at reading the game and cutting out last ditch passes. I keep saying he's very like the defensive side of Adam Forshaw's game when he was fit, which is just nicking the ball in front of people and 5-yard pass. But I think that might be off now because of this injury. I think Leeds aren't gambling on it because of the amount of money they want for him.
He had a bad injury. I think it was 17-18 or 16-17 where he missed the entire season.
Yeah, he did his MCL and he had a knee injury 2 years before that as well, which was also a knee injury. But Leeds want him for a certain amount of money based on his injury history and the fact that he got a knee injury this week as well. And I think
worrying it.
I think they kind of went, right, well, hang on. He was supposed to travel that day apparently and went to train, got kicked by one of his teammates. So I would have loved him in this system. Again, the energy levels that he has, I think would have suited it. You would have had, going back to that first season, Bielsa in the Championship, when we saw Leeds players swarming back and around people, you'd have that energy level in there to be able to go and do that again. If it was a case that we were caught in a counter-attack, you can get after him. It's only Tanaka for me from a defensive perspective is Forshaw, not from an attacking perspective. But I think he would have been a really nice addition there.
Yeah, for sure. Just want to welcome Steve in Rhode Island, who's become a member of Just Joe FC. Big up to you. Sorry to put you on the spot, lads, but if O'Reilly isn't available, do we know any on the top of our head that would fit a similar sort of brief? I know I don't.
But I don't mind Brownhill.
Josh Brownhill
McAtee
from Burnley. He scored a lot of goals last season as well, Brownlee, didn't he?
Very good.
Brownlee, we were linked with Brownlee to start at the window as well. We were linked with a move from early. James McAtee is a possibility there as well, but you're not going to get him on loan probably, and it's probably going to cost you a bit, but he would be another option. If you look at the players that were linked over the last couple of days, there's a lot of similar players in similar positions. Like McAtee was linked today along with Matty O'Reilly. They're very, very similar as well. So, and then the defensive side, you've got Kamara, Tanaka. They're similar enough as well. There's a lot of... As I kept saying at the start of this, it looks like the first and second options that they've got. They're moving for all of them just to see what they can get across the line.
Seen Doyle there as well. That's good. He's going Wolves, I think, though, right?
Yeah, Doyle.
He's gone.
Bennett too, but
unfortunately,
also another one who would be perfect, honestly, because
I've
it's
seen
not,
Jeff Hendrick mentioned a bit as well today.
I don't
but
want
I don't
that.
think.
no,
But there's two sides to Jeff Hendrick. One is on the ball. Jeff Hendrick is a tidy footballer. He's a very good passer of the ball, and but he's struggled to find a team where he's actually let play football. He did really well for Ireland under Trapattoni. Kind of let him have a bit of freedom and played him higher up the park, and he was very, very good for Ireland. And in the Euros, he was probably one of Ireland's best players at that time. But he struggles to find. He moved to Newcastle. Then he didn't know where to really play him. But from an energy and a pace perspective, he doesn't fit this system at all. Hendricks is not a quick player at getting back. He's not a big tackler. He's more of a luxury kind of midfielder if you have room for him. He's not a bad footballer by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think he fits this system. I think he would be a last thing of we need to get someone extra through the door. He'll do a job kind of signing.
Yeah. It's one to watch, but yeah, no, I don't want Jeff Hendrick. Not for me. Won't be one that I'd be happy with anyway. Josh Brownell sounds like a shout though. I know. I don't think he started much games either. When you consider they've made a lot of signings though, Burnley. I think it might come back to bite them.
It was really good. His stats were brilliant last year.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it's a good shout. Just having a look here. Even Kamara would be ahead of Hendrick. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Wait and see. So we're coming towards the end of the show. Great insight from the lads. Thank you so much, because I've learned so much there just on the system and what's needed. And I love the way Andrea says verticality. So that's a favourite of mine. So yeah, I enjoy that. But tomorrow, folks, what we expecting? I think Gruyev. I think that will get done. Personally, I think I'm pretty confident. The fact that he was left out of training, he's probably flown over. I think we maybe get that done. What's next for you? Because we don't want to panic, do we? That's the thing. We don't want to panic.
For me, I think if the left back is right there for Charlie Creswell in terms of what I think that can be done.
Charlie Creswell.
Oh, I've done it. You did it. You did it before, didn't you, Joe?
Don't try and blame me. Don't try and blame me.
You did it like 4 times on a stream. You get some right stuff. Charlie Taylor.
Yeah.
Because one second, I was just gonna say because he's only in Burnley. You get here in an hour. Do you know what I mean? That's one way you can kind of wait and delay because you know he's there. You'll know he want to come. You know he will, and that doesn't take long to do. On deadline day, if you need to get that done, he's an hour away. Yeah, exactly. We need to get these kind of these guys in Europe first. Get all them done. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a great shout. Actually, go on. What were you going to say, Andre?
No, we were talking about who can fill the spot. Like Brownell. Honestly, who can be a good fit there for the system. John Swift.
Oh yes, that's a good one. That's a good one as well. Yeah.
If you want, we'll need to spend, but. If we wanted to spend on O'Reilly, for an example, and we don't get O'Reilly, then we have the money. If we have the money to make an offer for O'Reilly, surely we have the money to make a good offer for Swift, honestly. And considering the problems they have at West Brom, it could be a good solution for both clubs.
That's a great shot.
Well, it's officially 11 o'clock as well, folks, which means in 48 hours the window will slam shut. So yeah. I'll be here when it slams shut. I think that's Chase, actually, that, isn't it? Dum. What's that? That's Chase. No, it's not.
That's Chase.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not. So. But how does Sky go now? I can't remember.
Wait,
it's something similar.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
No, maybe you're right. Maybe the first one. No, but maybe it is Sky that you did.
That's Sky. No, that's Chase. Is it? No, I think that might be the Chase.
I don't have a clue.
I don't have a clue what you're on about. Yeah, I love it. But we'll be here. People dropping in and out. There will be something. We'll do something tomorrow as well. Today is the 30th. No, it's not countdown, man. Countdowns.
How do you not know what countdown is? Everyone knows what countdown is.
I know, right? It is the Chase. Boom, boom, I think, anyway. It don't matter, does it? We'll get stuck on that for hours. So make sure you follow, folks. We're so close, like you would not believe, and I've really set myself this target now. We're so close to 1 million views for August, which is insane. It is insane. So like, if I can get it, I can't lie. Like, it's such an achievement.
You know what?
I genuinely
if you
feel
get
proud
1 million
about it.
views this month, then you don't have to be the self-proclaimed busiest man on YouTube. You'll be statistically the busiest man on YouTube.
But we'll get your certificate and everything, Joe. You can put
Yeah, man. I'll stick it there over them holes. I'll put it over them holes behind me, mate. But yeah, hopefully we can achieve it. We're not too far away, to be honest. So, yeah, that'd be amazing. But please do subscribe. Make sure you check out these other content creators as well. Obviously, The View smashes it out daily. Probably the biggest growing YouTuber in the Leeds United sphere in the last 12 months. How do I know that? Because my analytics say that. So well done, Joe. I'm watching you. No, but big up to Joe. He's smashing it. So go check him out. Lockie as well, amazing content, as is always the case, mate. How many videos have you created this week that have had to go in the bin?
3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who were they?
Amiri, Paintsill, and O'Brien.
Why don't you send that Paintsill one across to a Southampton content creator and say, yeah, have that?
They can pay me. They can pay me for it.
They can pay me. Yeah. You could just do a bloopers vid of you just like, here's Amiri.
My Amiri one was great. I had so much detail on the Amiri one
Really?
as well. Fuming.
You should wait till the window's closed and then do an entire live video of all the players Leeds didn't get. They were linked to it, and then show the clips from your videos. There you go.
Yeah. This is what we could have won, like
There's
bullseye.
no such thing as dead content. Oh,
No, there isn't, mate. Right.
And it'll be a Tanaka one as well if he doesn't.
Come. Oh, there you go. We've already chatted about the Cine loan. He's not going out on loan. There, open and shut case. And Andrea, who's looking sweet as a nut with his new mic. Follow him on Twitter.
I was laughing because at the start of the video you said that I'm looking like a piano bar, singer with this mic. And I reminded when at the team meeting when I was at Reggiana for the Christmas party. They gave me a mic and I sang in front of all the people. I have video evidence if you want to watch it.
No, I want to see it.
You want to watch it?
No, I want to see you live right now.
Yeah.
We want to hear it.
No, I want to hear it.
We want to hear you.
I don't want to see it. I want to hear it right now.
I have searched it.
This is what you get from the Just Joe show. Live peer pressure.
You can't hear that, but yeah, you can see that I was basically.
It was what was it called? Is this your initiation song?
Yeah.
No, I was singing Wonderwall. I was singing Wonderwall. Yeah.
Can you not?
Look.
Can you not dub over it now? Can you not give us a blast?
Well,
go on.
If you really want, and all the roads you have to walk are winding. No, I really like Casa Chips too. By the way, yeah.
You looked very comfortable with the microphone in your hand.
Oh yeah. Just do the. I don't know actually if that's allowed. I don't know. It is. Well, no, I don't know. Is it just one cornetto? That's what we used to have in England.
I'll do one for Jer. Shena fina.
Oh no, we're not doing national anthems. No.
Okay. Anyway, let's move. Let's end it there. Listen, there's been over 1,200 people watching. Please make sure you go out and check each and every one of these content creators. As I always say, smash a like, subscribe, notification bell on. I'll be back tomorrow at some point, probably not in the morning, because I've got some things to do, but expect me afternoon, evening, just to give you updates in them times. White Rose Rivals is tomorrow as well at 6 p.m. Chef Wednesday on the weekend, so that'll be fun. So wait and see what happens there. And yeah, keep it locked and we'll see you on the other side. Enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Peace out now. Bye-bye.